Here's how I make Swedish meatballs. First, you're going to need about a pound of ground meat. I'm using ground turkey. Next, you'll add a 1/4 cup of panko breadcrumbs, a 1/4 cup of finely diced onion, about 6 cloves of garlic finely minced, a couple of tablespoons of fresh parsley, 1 egg. Next, we're going to season this with 1½ teaspoons of salt, some pepper, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1 teaspoon of dash seasoning. Next, you're going to combine this mixture. I prefer just using my hands. You can of course use whatever tools that you may like, but I find that it's easier for me to make sure that everything is combined when I'm using my hands. So now we're going to form the meatballs. This is about the size that I like, not too big, not too small, and this entire mixture makes about 12 of those meatballs. And if your hands get a little too sticky, just wet it with a little bit of water and you should be fine. Next, add a little bit of olive oil to a pan and add 1 tablespoon of butter. Let the butter melt and we're going to sear our meatballs. I like to sear them about 2 minutes on each side because I like to have that crust. After about 2 minutes, you can flip them. As you can see now, it has that nice crust, and we're going to sear the other side for 2 minutes. Next, I also like to brown the sides of the meatballs, not just the top and bottom. So total, it's going to take you about 8 minutes to sear all sides of the meatballs. Next, remove them to a plate, and now you're going to add 3 tablespoons of butter. Let this butter melt, and you're going to add 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. Now we're going to cook this for about 1 minute. I'm also cooking this on low heat to make sure that the flour doesn't burn. And now we're going to slowly add the broth. I'm using chicken broth because I'm using turkey meat. If you are cooking with ground beef, I would suggest using beef broth. As you can see, I am adding this while I am stirring a little bit at a time because we don't want the broth to splash everywhere. You want to make sure that you are whisking until there are no more lumps. And now we're going to add our cream. I am using light cream. Feel free to use heavy cream if you like. And we're still cooking this on low. We're going to give this a quick stir. And again, you want to make sure you have no lumps in your sauce. Next, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. I can never say that word. 1 teaspoon of salt, some pepper, and this is optional, but I like to add freshly grated nutmeg into this mixture. It gives it a really nice flavor. If you don't have any fresh nutmeg, you can use ground nutmeg, or you can just skip it altogether. Now we're going to give this a good mix, and we're going to add our meatballs back into the mixture. We're going to cook this probably about 10 minutes on low heat. You just want to make sure that you spoon the sauce all over the meatballs. We want to make sure that the meatballs is covered with the sauce. After about 10 minutes and the sauce has thickened a bit, I am adding a couple of tablespoons of fresh parsley, and this is optional, but I like to also add some grated Parmesan into this. At this point, make sure you season to taste, and during this time I also boiled my egg noodles. This is the one that I'm using. Now I'm just plating it for my boys. They eat about 3 meatballs and they like quite a bit of sauce on top of their egg noodles. And now I'm just going to garnish this with a little bit of fresh parsley, and my boys really like Parmesan on top of their Swedish meatballs. And that's it, guys. We are done. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I will see you next time. Bye.